Terence Crawford's team makes big admission related to what their next option is, specifically related to several losses that he has on his record and the Errol Spence Jr. negotiations. Let's talk about that in this video. Terence Crawford has suffered some very big losses in his career that are not reflected on BoxRec, not reflected in his official boxing record, and they are not related to what he does in the ring, but yet have a lot of effect on what his next moves are. And these losses came from the bank of Top Rank and Bob Arum. Also, his losses that were incurred by other people as it related to his negotiation with Errol Spence, all put him in a funny position. This, at least part of it, was discussed by Bernie the Boxer in an interview that he did with Mill City Boxing. Shout out to Mill City Boxing. That's MILL City Boxing. Check him out on YouTube. Great interviews. I'm not the type of person to take recordings from other people's work, so I'm just gonna have to be able to point you to that. But we're gonna talk about what that is and what Bernie the Boxer said and why this is really kind of important for the lay of the land in the 100, pretty much from 147 all the way up to 168. But before I do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber, thanks for checking me out. Thank you for the support. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, and thank you to everybody that supports in the Cash App. It really, excuse me, not the Cash App, but thank you for that too. But people that support in the super thanks to the videos that we do. It is a great way to support the channel. And it is not just for me, but for pretty much anybody, any YouTube channel that you really like. I would say, hey man, you know, help guys out, man, even if it's not me, because hey, it's a rough grind, man, doing this boxing thing on YouTube. So I did want to just take a second and thank again Mr. Big Mel. Thank you so much for your support. Matty Yo, thank you for your support. Reginald Rogers 9358, thank you, brother, for your support. All you got, the people that donated yesterday in the videos that we did, so thank you. Also, but let's get into this real fast because this is this is important and it's interesting, I think. Bernie the Boxer was interviewed by Mill City, and he said, look, man, Top Rank doesn't even want to mess with us. Talking about whether or not Teofimo Lopez and Terence Crawford would be able to fight. He said, look, man, Bob Arum ain't doing any business with Bud. Matter of fact, Bob Arum doesn't really even want Keyshawn Davis working with Bomac because the beef that they have. Now, what's the beef that they have? Terence Crawford sued Bob Arum, claiming that he didn't promote him and he didn't promote black fighters properly. That case went away. Civil suit went away because Terence Crawford did not refile it after they successfully had it moved back from a federal court back to a state court in Nevada. But the ill will is still there. But the reason why Bob Arum did not want to re-sign Terence Crawford was because Bob Arum said that he lost enough money on Terence Crawford to buy a mansion in Beverly Hills. And that only way he would be doing any business with Terence Crawford is if it was on a one-fight basis. And he said that's the way that he used to do it with Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And he would be willing to do that with Bud, but other than that, wasn't going to happen. That freed Terence Crawford to negotiate with the PBC and get a fight done with Errol Spence. Now, the problem is with that also is that if you listen to Leonard Ellerby, Terence Crawford's fight with Errol Spence did not do any more than they thought it would do, and they were never particularly excited about the fight. The PBC was never particularly excited about the fight, and similar to the situation with Bob Arum, which caused Bob Arum to lose money, Terence Crawford was very expensive in that fight. In order to get the fight that Errol wanted, it made a lot of money for Errol, it made a lot of money for Terence, but you have to wonder if it was something that the PBC really felt like made a lot of money for them. So as you looking forward for Terence Crawford, the admission that Bob Arum doesn't want to do business with him really tells you what a funny situation Terence Crawford really is in right now, because the PBC is not anxious to make a fight between him and Canelo Alvarez. It doesn't seem like they're really anxious to make the rematch between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. either. And that's not anything that I've heard or somebody's told me, just a general feeling, because they didn't seem exceptionally excited about it the first time. It was going to be a big fight. This fight is probably, with Errol and Terence, probably not going to be as big as the first one was. I think I would freely give that to anybody that would make that argument. So what is Terence Crawford going to do? You have Terence Crawford asking for a fight with Tim Tszyu, or intimating that he wants to fight Tim Tszyu. Why in the world would the PBC do that one? You have a very high likelihood that Terence Crawford is going to beat Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu is not a big name, is not a big draw. I don't think Tim Tszyu is any bigger a draw than Jaron Ennis is. And honestly, I don't think that he has the upside that Jaron Ennis has. So you have a position where if Tim Tszyu can get belts, can fight Jermell Charlo in that division, and Jaron Ennis is able to do what he does and able to maybe unify belts at 147 pounds, you got that fight that they can make with Jaron Ennis and Tim Tszyu at 154 pounds for multiple belts, and be able to do that fight in a way which is a lot less expensive than dealing with Terence Crawford. The way that Terence Crawford negotiated with Errol Spence and pulling out of that negotiation and kind of just being somebody that could be considered flaky in that regard, man, I just think that is going to be a tough road. It's going to be a tough road for him to convince people that he's not signed with, that, to invest that money in him. And like Terence Crawford now seems like he's a little bit more into promotion and more, about making public statements and being seen and selling himself more. But you have to wonder whether or not he's going to revert back to what was going on with Terence when Terence was with Bob Arum, where Bob Arum was like, look, man, he doesn't do promotion. He won't really get involved in the promotion itself and help to sell himself. So if you sign him to a guaranteed contract, what you may get is he feels like he is guaranteed the money, so no need to go out of his way to promote anything. And I think that had a lot to do probably with the lack of stellar success of his fights when he was with Top Rank. So I thought that was a big admission by Bernie the Boxer that he's not going to do any business with Top Rank. And that pretty much takes away Matchroom and Golden Boy as well, because they're not going to be looking to lose money with Terence Crawford in order to have Terence Crawford beat their fighters. It's just a funny situation, man, which is why I still lean to the probability that Errol and Terence will have that rematch. Otherwise, man, it's just going to be funny. Maybe BLK Prime will find another $6 million or $10 million or whatever it is that they paid him to go back over there. But, it's kind of like not a shame, but because, it is what it is, man. Terence had a great career, made a lot of money. Don't feel sorry for him at all. But as far as the outlook of the fights that we want to see, with a fighter that's that good and is the best fighter in boxing, it's not the best. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.